What are some of the skills a teen should be working on to be able to be a good 3D animator and a rigger?
Patience. A lots and lots of patience. That is one of the biggest things that I know you need in life in general, but for especially 3D rigging, you need a lot of patience.
I know I've messed around with Fusion a little bit, and I know patience is a virtue.
Yes, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today. And I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's guest is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk to someone who does 3D rigging. Do you have any idea what 3D rigging is? Well, I think it's like rigging a game in like Gorilla Tag or something, but you know what? Let's just talk to this lady and find out. Let me introduce our next guest. The one, the only, the amazing Jasmeldy Diaz!
Hello.
Well, thank you for being on the show today. Okay, so you are listed as a 3D animator and rigging artist. What exactly is rigging, and like, how did you get into it?
So basically, I originally went to college, Full Sail University, for 3D animation because I really wanted to do 3D animation. But then going into it, I fell in love with rigging. And basically, rigging is the skeletons that you make for the 3D animators to create. So it's basically trying to get the skeletons in just so you can be able to animate the actual character or creature.
So, Jazzy, were you always interested in 3D animation as a child?
No, I wasn't actually. I actually wanted to grow up to be a doctor when I was younger. I always like to tell this story. When I was a young kid, I wanted to be a superhero. I wanted to be a superhero, and in some way, shape, or form. And one of the best ways that I saw that I could be a superhero is by being a doctor to save lives. But little did I know, growing up, I can also be a superhero in touching people's hearts when it comes to animation, because like Disney and everything, or like DreamWorks, there's a lot of movies and stuff that touch people's hearts and that can actually save their lives as well. So I figured I could be my own little superhero like that.
So, at what point did you decide that 3D rigging was the job for you?
Again, when I was in college, when I was in Full Sail University, I started to fall in love more with rigging than an actual animation. I still like to do the animation part of it, but when rigging became a part of it, since with Full Sail you take different classes when it comes to your job description, 3D, rigging was something that I just really fell in love with and that I really wanted to do. I felt like this was a career for me.
Okay, so you attended Full Sail University right here in Orlando. So what drew you to move to Florida from Queens?
So, fun fact, I was born in Queens, and then I moved to Lancaster, Pennsylvania when I was about 5 or so, and then I moved down here to Florida for the wrong reasons, but the wrong reasons always became the right reasons, because I found my passion, I found the career that I wanted to do, and I found what I really wanted to do with my life as well.
So what about rigging did you find most exciting or satisfying, and why?
The completion of everything. The completion of just being able to create a character, to be able to make a character come to life. That is just like the most important part that comes to me, because whenever I start to rig a character, it has its tedious moments, but once it's completed and then once you can see the character come to life, it's the most satisfying thing.
So do you see rigging as more as a technical or artistic work, or do you see it as like a fusion of both?
It is actually a fusion of both. It is a technical, it's technical art, digital art, if you want to put it that way. Because in a way, you still have to work with the character model when it comes to trying to make the rig for the 3D model. So it is technical. So like to think it's a fusion of both.
So what types of rigs do you prefer working on? You know, humanoid, creatures, or mechanical, and why?
Humanoid. When it comes to creatures, I'm still not completely comfortable with that. But when it comes to humanoid, I like to feel like I'm just bringing another human to life in a way.
So what are the main tools that you use for rigging? Are there like any like free softwares that can do this type of work?
So I recently started working with Blender. Blender is something that it is free that you can use. It is a little bit more different from what I used to use, which was Maya. Maya was my preference for a while, but again, I started using Blender a little bit here now and then, just so I can get my toes into something more different from what I used to work with.
So, what was the coolest rig that you made?
The coolest rig that I made was definitely this Archer. It was one of the first rigs that I ever made before, and I thought that it was one of the best ones that I did, mostly because of all of the different weapons and stuff that I had to attach to it. I felt like it was one of my best ones and one of my favorite ones that I've ever made.
Alright, so what part of a 3D animation do you enjoy the most?
I just love bringing the character to life, to be honest with you. I love seeing where I can put one character from the beginning of a scene to the next part of a scene.
So, do you ever build a rig that surprised you for how it worked?
Not really. Mostly because I try to follow the same formula that I always did, and I don't really go past from what I already know, even though I trying to learn new things, which is why again I'm trying to learn Blender. But yeah.
So, what qualities do you think distinguish people who are good at rigging and who are great at rigging?
So, good riggers follow the same formula, everything, as lather, rinse, repeat, the same things that they usually do. Great riggers go above and beyond, like they know Python, they know how to code, they know how to make their own things, they know how to make shortcuts and stuff like that.
So, what's the best part about working in the 3D animation industry?
Learning new things every single day. Every single day is a new learning curve, and every single day is something that you learn to put into your artwork.
So what is one thing you think kids should know about doing the work that you do?
It is a very stressful job, but the stress, it is so much worth it at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, you're bringing things to life and something that you're hoping to touch others in the process.
Now, here seems like a good time to do a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut! That's a wrap! Just use that!
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here talking with Jasmeldy Diaz, animator, rigger, and activations agent. So Jazzy, what exactly is an activations agent?
It's actually a job that I recently quit, but an activations agent is something that where you used to you activate vacation packages for other people. So I used to work for Hilton Grand Vacations where I would call people to activate their vacation packages so they can go on their lovely vacations to any Hilton branded property in the United States and even in Hawaii.
Huh. So, is this like a day job so you can do more work on your passion in 3D animation?
It was a day job, yes. I usually just work at Barnes & Noble right now, but it was a day job that I did just so I can get like more funds and stuff so I can do more 3D animation and rigging.
So, is your animation and rigging work mainly personal, freelance, or like in a studio and client context?
So it's more personal right now. I'm trying to build a portfolio just so I can go into the industry that I want to, which is video games. So it is something that I want to eventually build so I can be a part of a bigger part of it because I love video games. I love playing them, everything. So it's one thing that I really want to get into when it comes to my rigging.
So, have there ever been times when your non-3D work inspires or influences your creative work?
Yes, so there's a lot of times where reading actually comes to play a lot when it comes to that. Because again, I work at Barnes & Noble now, so reading, it comes a lot too when it comes to my creative mind, when it comes to trying to actually bring those characters to life as well. Because a lot of the times, I like to say reading is like movies in your head. But when I got a good majority of the time, I want to actually like bring those characters to life because there were a couple of times where I did make a character from the work that I did, from the books that I have read.
So do you see a future where you shift entirely into 3D work, or do you like having the variety?
I would love to switch to just 3D work in general. That is something that I would love to do. That, especially in the video game industry, that is something that I would just love to do in the future.
Okay, so what's the biggest thing that you learned in school that you still use today?
Always practice, because your craft is something that you're always going to hone no matter what, and you're always going to want to practice every single time.
So what trends in the 3D animation and rigging world do you find most exciting right now?
Right now, the trends that I mostly find exciting is just how, like, the shortcuts that people like to use. I like to implement them a lot when it comes to my own rigging. So I want to just try to get better at trying to pull out as much as I can without all the shortcuts that I've learned and stuff like that as well.
So how do you stay current with the new tools or methods? And does it cost a lot to keep up to date?
Yes. So, when it comes to a lot of the software and stuff, it can get pretty pricey, but that's what working is for, to be honest with you, to try to pay for that. But a good majority of the time when it comes to that, I like to go to YouTube just to try to be up to date with everything because everything's always changing and there's always a new update when it comes to any type of software.
So Jazzy, what's the most misunderstood part about your work?
The most misunderstood part about my work is that people think it's just you just move a character or you just build something. A lot of people actually didn't know what rigging was. So a good majority of the time I needed to explain to them, like, no, I make the skeleton that makes the move. They're like, what do you mean you make the skeleton that makes the move? And I'm like, I'm the one that tries to put the thing in so the people can actually make things come to life.
So, what type of video games do you play? Since you mentioned you want to be in the video game world.
I play a little bit of everything. I love, one of the biggest games that I loved playing when growing up was Halo. I'm also a very big Legend of Zelda fan.
Okay.
My favorite video game of all time is Kingdom Hearts, which is something that inspired me a lot growing up. And hopefully, if things go well in my life, I can work towards that kind of video game.
That'll be nice. So, what's the best advice that you've ever received, and who gave you that advice?
The best advice that I've ever received, wow, there's a lot. But my good friend Faith, she just says to wake up every single day, that today is just another day that I don't remember the quote to the T, but just today's another day. You wake up, keep going.
So why would a kid listening today want to grow up and do your job?
You get to create things, man. You get to bring things from start to finish. You get to build a foundation that you never thought that you were able to build. And you can just bring stuff to life. Again, I wanted to be a superhero, and something that I wanted to do was touch people with some form of passion. And this is one of the best passions that I've come to know.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we are back with Jasmeldy Diaz, 3D animator, rigger, and gamer. Okay, so Jazzy, what are some of the skills a teen should be working on to be able to be a good 3D animator and a rigger?
Patience. Lots and lots of patience. That is one of the biggest things that I know you need in life in general, but for especially 3D and rigging, you need a lot of patience.
I know I've messed around with Fusion a little bit, and I know patience is a virtue.
Yes, it is.
So how does 3D animation and rigging make the world a better place?
You're creating life in a way. You're creating new things that people get to expand on and explore. Like right now, we just got the new parks from 3D animation and rigging, like the new How to Train Your Dragon park. Even with this new Super Nintendo World, so stuff like that, you get to create just general life.
So, what was the one thing that happened in your career that you just didn't expect?
How difficult it can be to try to keep up with everything, because after a while, it does take a toll on you. It does take a toll when it comes to stress and everything, but it is still something that you get excited for when you wake up at the next day.
So, do you think AI has a positive role in improving your industry, or do you think it'll just cost people's jobs?
I'm hit and miss when it comes to AI, mostly because AI can be helpful, but I do feel like in a way AI still won't be able to take somebody's job fully, mostly because you still need an actual life presence and an actual human to be able to create stuff to come to life.
So if a kid watching right now wanted to get into 3D animation, what's the first steps they should look into?
Learning the software. Learning the software when it comes to anything. Even Blender is free, so you can go ahead and use Blender. YouTube is always there to help, and that's how I learned a lot of the stuff too. So Learn the software, definitely.
So, what have you learned about yourself that you wish that you knew earlier?
I don't know, to be honest. Oh, no, I do know. That it comes back to patience because I'm not a very big patient person. Because back then is something that I'm not a very big patient person at all, but learning 3D and rigging is something that I learned that you need to have a lot of patience for.
Yes, indeed. So, if you could change anything to make your job easier or better, what would it be?
Having more time. Having more time in the day, having more time when it comes to just being able to create.
So, if you could go back in time and give your 14-year-old self advice, what would it be?
Stop trying to follow other people's dreams and do what you want to do instead. Because I did not know I wanted to be a rigging artist for the longest time, up until I was about in my mid-20s. So stop trying to follow other people's dreams and follow what you want to do in your to your own degree. Because I always wanted to be an artist, but I never pursued it, mostly because everybody else wanted something else from me. So what I would tell to myself, my younger self, stop trying to do what everybody else wants you to do and just go for what you want to do.
So, if you could pick any dream project or a team you wanted to work with, what would it be?
Square Enix. I would love to work for Square Enix, hands down, but hopefully that might be in the works in the future. So let's see. But Square Enix definitely is something that is a company that I would love to work for.
So, Jazzy, on your off time, what are your favorite things to do for fun?
Aside from video games and reading, that's pretty much it. I have 2 lovely dogs that I like to take care of, so I like to spend time with them as much as possible. But yeah, I love playing video games. I love reading. I love building worlds in my head from doing both of those things. So yeah.
So, you said that you liked reading books. So, what's your favorite book to read?
My favorite book of all time is the Throne of Glass series. I know a lot of people say, oh, the author or whatever, but I have been reading that woman's stuff since I was 18 years old, and I will stick by it till this day.
So, what was the biggest mistake that you ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
The biggest mistake I've ever made was being with a certain somebody, but that still made me who I am today as a better version of myself. I learned a lot when it came to being with that person, but still, at the end of the day, I became a better version of myself. I like to think of.
Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? You know, remember, this is a kid's show, but that one story, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
That one story. Are you sure I'm allowed to say it on a kid's show?
You can say, hey, I won't tell anybody.
Okay.
I won't.
Is the one time that I got a little too happy with juices and went out and caused a lot of shenanigans. Let's just put it like that.
Okay, we'll put it like that. So, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you and what you do?
Not necessarily. It's just all I really have to say is go for what you want. Go for your dreams. Go for what you feel like is what you really want to do in life, because life is too short for you to just stand around and do nothing or listen to other people in their give you this version of yourself that you don't really know of. So just go for whatever you want to do.
So, well, do you have a Facebook or a website for my listeners who want to follow you?
I do have a Facebook. It's just Jasmeldy Diaz. I also do have an Instagram, which I'm going to try to start posting a little bit on. It's called Valendrius. Because I'm not really big when it comes to social media, unfortunately, but I'm trying to change that to try to build my portfolio.
So, okay. What is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
Who is my hero?
Who is your hero?
My hero is my mother. That woman has been there for me for the longest time, since I was a wee child coming out to being where I am now.
Well, thank you, Jasmeldy Diaz, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Of course.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad, my computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
And now it's time for Math Corners. Thank you so much, Jazzy, for helping me with Math Corners. This week, we're just more multi-step word problems. My dad is always good at finding new problems for me to solve, and today, we're going to talk about a robot rig. So, I know you must be good at this one, right?
Oh, absolutely, mate. Let's see.
Okay. So, Frank is rigging a robot arm for a game character. The robot arm has two parts. The upper arm is 25 centimeters long, and the lower arm is 20 centimeters long. So the arm starts straight out to the side, and then the elbow bends and the lower arm points straight down. So how far is the robot hand, the end of the lower arm, from the shoulder joint when after the elbow bends?
Do I really need to answer this?
Nah, it's okay. I got it. Okay, so this is a real world problem because, well, riggers do use a lot of math in their work. Some even use calculus, so it's pretty hard. So first you have to figure out the angle of the elbow. So since the lower arm goes straight down, we know that it's 90 degrees, like a right triangle. So one side is 25 centimeters and the other is 20. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem to determine the distance of the shoulder to the hand. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 25 squared is 625, and 20 squared is 400. Add them together and you get 1,025. Now you take the square root and you get 32.02. So the answer should be that the robot hand is only like 32 centimeters away from the shoulder from after the arm bends.
Okay.
That's geometry, by the way, guys. You want to learn that. It's super helpful. Okay, so, Jazzy, do you have to figure out the distance from the shoulder to the hand a lot, or is that just questions for math's sake?
It's questions for math's sake, to be honest. Mostly because a good majority of the time we have to just play by eye. We always have to match it by eye than it is when it comes to just general math.
Well, my teachers say that I would use math every single day. How do you use math in your work?
The basics. Just to make sure everything is adding up to the right numbers, and stuff like that.
Well, thank you so much, Jasmeldy, for helping me with Math Corners.
You're welcome.
And now it's time for the Heart of the Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the Heart of the Lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. So this week, we're going to talk about nobility. For me, I think nobility is remembering that we are God's special possessions and acting in a noble way, showing courage and honor. The qualities of nobility are goodness, virtue, honor, generosity, and selflessness. So last week, I was at a 7-Eleven and noticed that the staff person was cleaning up the food station. You know, the hot dogs, hot pizzas, etc. But instead of throwing out all the old stuff, he put it in a brown bag. This caught my attention. So I watched what he did with it. I mean, I thought maybe he was like take it home and eat it for himself. Instead, he went out to the back and gave it to a homeless guy. The man took the bag and distributed to a number of homeless people that were hanging around the side of the building. They were old hot dogs and taquitos and even some pizza, and they were so thankful, and the staff person was so fast they didn't even hear the thank you. So this was true nobility and generosity. I mean, he was helping the homeless while, I assume, risking their job. This is also really selfless. So Jazzy, do you have an example of nobility that you saw this week?
Not really, no. But I did. Can I say something for what I used to do?
Sure.
So when I was younger, I actually helped somebody with their car, and I helped them when it came to. I was working at a restaurant, and they needed food and everything, so I helped whenever it came to like leftovers and stuff that we had, kind of similar to the 7-Eleven guy. I brought them back a lot of the leftover stuff that we had as well, plus I gave them a lot of the tips and stuff that I made that day as well.
Oh wow, that's nice. So Jazzy, of all of the Heart of the Lion virtues, which is the one that you see the most?
Nobility is definitely one of them that I do see the most. I just haven't seen any this week.
Well, we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Jasmeldy Diaz for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking to you today. I think we learned a lot about your rigs as a 3D animator and rigging.
Thank you. You can follow me on Valendriath and on Instagram. You can also just follow me on, try to follow me on Jasmeldy Diaz on Facebook. And hopefully I'll be able to have a YouTube channel up soon.
Okay. And also you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show. And I would like to thank WWPR 1400 AM, Canton 98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easy Way TV, and all the other stations that air on my show. And please be sure to visit Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. And Jazzy, are you subscribed yet?
Absolutely.
Let's go. Okay, so in this week, Ships in the Night says Go Lane Go, and Fabe NYC says Tiberius. This is very entertaining information. Well, Fabe NYC, thank you so much for your support, and I'm really glad that you're enjoying the show. And be sure to leave a comment on my videos, and I might even mention yours at the end of the show. And also, be sure to do us next week on the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy. And that's a wrap.